at a book, a simple, inanimate object, what do you see? Paper-bound pages with countless words strewn across each and every page, colorful titles and captivating covers, parchment and ink. I see so much more. For folded between the pages of books, there lies this infinite potential. They are doorways that can lead anywhere and everywhere, alongside pirates and across the 7 seas, to the hidden passages of Narnia, to the battlefields of Mordor, to the stone walls of Hogwarts, and to the mysteries that lie beneath the surface of the sea. So when I look at a book, I see so much more than just words scattered across paper. I see portals to new worlds. I'm a reader, and when I read, I know that these incredible tales of mystical beings and magic powers can't possibly be real. And yet, I still feel what these characters feel, and their realities merge into my own. Obviously not the bit about supernatural abilities, but the truth behind magic wands and mermaid tales. It's not what they are. It's not who they are. It's what they represent. Percy Jackson, my childhood hero, began as a rebellious teen just like any other, who was thrust into this world of danger and given prophesized glory he never asked for. But he didn't crumble under the pressure. Instead, he rose from his countless failures. Percy is my hero not just because he could make me laugh, but because he taught me that even the most ordinary of people can become the most extraordinary of heroes. And hey, if Percy Jackson can become the savior of Olympus, then surely I can get through exam week. Then comes Sapphire Trewhella, a girl hopelessly torn between 2 worlds. She taught me the power of choice and how it can be my choice not to choose. Like when all of my friends suddenly clashed and I was expected to pick a side. She taught me that I don't have to. Next is Tris Pryor, rebel, outcast, divergent. She taught me to believe in ordinary acts of bravery, in the courage that drives one person to stand up for another. And last, but certainly not least, William Harrendale, my all-time favorite fictional character. He was a warrior, a tormented soul whose life had been cursed to be tragically lonely. He was desperate. He was rude, bitter and sarcastic. He used his humor as a weapon, and he hurt everyone he loved. But he did it all to protect those very same people. And when I was introduced to this beautifully broken individual, something inexplicable happened. I fell in love with all of that brokenness, with all of his foolish hopes and restless dreams. I loved this fictional character because of the truth he represented through all his flaws. For the world he was set in was magical. But he was so incredibly real, so incredibly human, because he made the worst mistakes. Because sometimes he was sick of always being selfless and allowed himself to wallow in self-pity. Because Will Harrendale loved not wisely, but with all of his fractured heart. And he taught me that love is more than just the butterflies that flutter against your chest, more than just shy blushes and fleeting glances. It's this chaotic fusion of hopefulness and desperation, redemption and forgiveness, selfishness and sacrifice. It was books that taught me all of this. And so they've simply become this integral part of me. I mean, where else would I go to escape the ridiculous hypocrisy of adults? Where else would I go when the world is far too much or merely not enough? Books are my escape, my adventures, my anchor, my home. And so alongside these stories, my life was perfectly content. For I had my books, and what more could I possibly need? But just when I'd begun to grasp at a sense of groundedness, all of that comfort was ripped away the moment I read a book where the protagonist's journey revolved around her discovery of herself. Her story was so engaging that when I finished it, I asked myself, well, who am I? What am I going to become? What am I meant to become? I can't simply exist, can I? I had all of these questions to which I couldn't seem to find the answers to, and that created this void within me. Because I'd always listened, but never asked, and here I was asking, but no one was there to listen. Then I thought, well, perhaps what stimulated all these questions is what holds the answer. So I read, and this time with the search for who I was guiding my intentions, every character reflected a certain aspect of myself. Percy's humor sparked my own. Sapphire's passionate nature inspired me to pursue my boldest ambitions. So I read some more, but this time I wrote. Every hidden truth I'd found coded in words of fiction, every fragment of a story I'd conjured, every description of a character I'd imagined, I began to create new tales and weave my own little truths within them. And with every recorded thought and finished book, that void within me was filling up slowly. But that one question still lingered: who am I? Yes, I discovered aspects of myself, but scattered ones. Yes, I loved art and writing and books, but how do they all fit together? What did being a reader even mean? And in that moment, I'm not quite sure why, but I thought of Will Harrendale and decided to revisit him in the mysterious shadow world. But as I did so, something was different, because this time I wasn't just reliving one of my favorite adventures. This time I wasn't just learning from him. Suddenly I understood him, because Will loved just as fiercely as I did, and he had all these emotions he just didn't know what to do with. So did I. Will was lost, attempting to shield all his insecurities with aimless humor and lies upon lies. I was lost too. Will Harrendale shared my love for books. He not only understood the power that words wield, but he taught me how to use it. And it was books that made me feel as though I was not completely alone. So I looked back at all of the words that I'd written and all of the books that I'd read, and I realized with this sudden surety that this is what being a reader truly meant. It meant believing in Tris Prior when she showed me that it was okay to be different. It meant laughing along with Percy Jackson at the most ridiculous of times. It meant trusting in Will Harrendale when he taught me that the beauty in fiction is that we wield the power to make it all real. I am someone who believes in that power. I am someone who may not know who she is exactly, but can feel it whenever surrounded by books. It's as though all of those scattered bits and pieces suddenly come together to form something whole. Folded between the pages of books, I find myself again and again. So I know that reading might not be for everyone, but as a great author once said, if you don't like to read, then you simply have not found the right book.